waste.
Yep.
A
Waste.
living creature is deemed as waste. There's got to be a more humane way. I mean,
Standard practice farming.
that's insane. But this just really took it to another level.
Yeah. And this is the snatching process that happens. And you'll see the mother's running after her baby because they're very
Really in
maternal.
distress, yeah.
She cries out for her baby for like 2 weeks as well. She's just like we would. We'd do everything we could to protect our baby that has just been born. And the males are being held here in a pen before they go in to be slaughtered.
And that's it, they just stay there.
And then they get killed in a minute, that you'll see.
But I mean, like, they don't go anywhere other than that little cage.
Yeah, just there. Just see him crying out for his mum. And now this is a slaughter process. So these babies are literally hours old. How does it make you feel when you see what's happening?
I don't think words can really describe how inhumane some of these things can be.
You're absolutely right. You're right. It's hard. It's a really hard watch. It's really hard. But I think you're really brave to watch because good people are paying for this and they don't even know.
I mean, if you eat meat, you should watch where it comes from, how it's getting into your plate. It's not just living a happy life in a field and then dying one day and we're taking the meat off it. It's,
They're literally, all being killed as babies. And this is all for dairy. This is all for cheese. Throat cut, hung upside down, still alive. You can feel everything. See that baby there?
yeah, I see.
And this is the females. So they get taken away from the mums as well. But their fate is different. So they get put into these isolation booths with a chain around their neck. And they're held here. And then they'll face the same fate as their mum, where they'll be forcibly impregnated like you saw, have baby taken away again and again and again until she's about 5 years old. And when they can no longer stand up, this is what happens to them. Get taken away because they're so malnourished and they've had baby taken away from them. They've been pregnant over and over again. And then they get taken to slaughter.
It really is quite hard to watch.
It is, yeah. You seem like a really compassionate person.
I mean, the thing is, I do eat meat, but I have been sort of leaning away for about a year now.
Have you?
Yeah, I mean, my mum's vegetarian. That sort of sparked the interest into me.
Okay.
Why would you even want to be vegetarian? And she sort of explained the cruelty to animals, but sort of left it at that. So I've always sort of had a self-interest in what
It's
is
intriguing.
really happening.
Yeah, to kind of know really what is happening, because it's easy. They've lied to us, and they've shown us the green grass and the cows in the field and the happy chickens, and that's not the reality at all.
Now, I'm not against farming. I'm very much for farming, but the industrialization and the lack of regulation and the lack of care for the animals themselves is what really gets me.
Would you be surprised to know that this is standard practice farming?
That's insane.
It's horrific. And like it says, all this killing for a piece of cheese. She's about 5 years old. How old do you think a cow should live for?
Longer than that.
About 30 years.
30?
Yeah.
Jesus.
So they killed at a fraction of their lifespan. This is the pig industry. So again, it starts with the forcible impregnation, because to keep up with demand for the products, they have to forcibly breed these animals into existence. 80 billion animals a year.
80 billion?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
And we don't see 80 billion animals out and about because they're all in here. So it starts with the farrow crates where they give birth, the mothers give birth to her young, and she'll be in them for about 6 to 8 weeks, where she can't turn around, she can't stand up.
6 to 8 weeks?
Yeah. And she can't even get to her babies who are literally dying next to her. And pigs are more intelligent than dogs, so they know everything that's going on.
So if you replace those little piglets with dogs, it'd be absolute outroar across the country.
Absolutely, and it's because of culture and conditioning. We've been taught to love dogs, but we've been taught to eat pigs.
See, that's what I've never understood. How some animals, they're pets, and some are food. They're all sentient. They've all got feelings.
Yeah, they do.
That's rough. That is very rough.
They snip their teeth and they cut their tails off without any anaesthetic as well, because they're kept in such close proximity. They cannibalise on each other. Because at 6 months old, do you know what happens to pigs?
No.
They get taken to the slaughterhouse and put into a gas chamber. You look into their eyes. That it's not their fault they were born a pig. That could have been me and you. Like, we just look different.
Yeah, I know. I mean, genetically, we're not too far different.
Yeah. So this is the gas chamber. They told people this is humane because they said pigs just fall asleep in here, until activists put a camera in to show people the truth. And they're not falling asleep. They're fighting with everything they have. Yeah.
Trying to escape.
Again, just for a bacon sandwich, when we don't need to eat their bodies, we can just choose other options. They come out of the gas chamber and it takes 15 seconds for them to gain consciousness. And then they have their throat cut. And you can see they're still conscious, still thrashing around.
Still moving. That's disgusting.
Do you think there's anything that could justify doing this to them?
I mean, if it was an extreme case where there is genuinely no crops that are able to grow and it's either...
Like survival?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's not like that at the moment.
Yeah, exactly.
We can choose what we want from a supermarket. We can choose to essentially fund what's going on right now.
You got it. You're so clued up on this. You're so right. Because in a survival situation, we might kill each other to survive. And all morals go out the window in a survival situation. But when you put that into Tesco's, you just walk in and choose what you want to fund, like you said. Do I want to fund industries that will kill animals because it's supply and demand? The more animals you pay for, the more they're going to kill more animals to be put into that position and then end up on the shelf to keep up with demand.
There's got to be a more humane way. I mean...
What would you say would be the humane way? Can you take someone's life humanely if they don't want to die?
No, but I'm not entirely sure that there's enough crops for people just to survive on from that. I mean, even from protein, I know you can get some protein from certain crops, but...
Yep. So that's like a how problem, and I can fix those how problems for you. If you know you can be healthy and strong and thrive and everyone could live on plants, do you think this would be justified?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, so ethically you're very much against it, and maybe you just got some how problems that I can help you with. So this is the chicken industry. Do you know how old chickens are when they are killed for meat?
Maybe like a year?
42 days old.
42 days?
And this is free range, and you'll see that they can hardly stand up on their own feet. Their legs break.
How is this free range?
Exactly. They tell you free range is that chicken on the grass in a nice field, just dying under their own weight, having heart attacks, because they've been genetically modified to be this breed and grow so fast.
Be your KFC just...
Yeah. So much suffering. You think we got vegan chicken, we can eat a jacket potato and beans, or we got abundance of other food we can eat. Why do we have to subject animals to such torture, enslavement, and ultimately murder at the end of it?
Misinformation is crazy as well.
Yeah.
Like at no point through, I mean, I'm 19 at the moment. Not a single point throughout my education have I ever been taught how the food gets to my plate.
Wow.
We are literally taught that they are, in a field somewhere, living a happy life.
Yeah, I'm exactly the same as you. I've always been like the biggest animal lover you'd ever meet, and I would save a pigeon from the road and then I'd go home and eat a chicken. But I was so disconnected. Table moved. I was so disconnected to who I was eating. I just saw a product like you'd see a packet of crisps. Whereas now, when I see an egg, I see male chicks going in a blender, I see chickens hung upside down. and things like that.
I mean, I was surprised to find out that Haribo's are from pig gelatin.
Yeah.
That's
They feed that to children. Children don't even know.
that's insane.
The bones of pigs. So now that you've seen this, is there any justification you can use for or not being vegan? Is there anything you
Maybe if you hunt it yourself, I mean, it's quite hard in this country.
What about yourself? Because I'd still think if I could either shoot an animal in the wild, or I could have just gone to Tesco's and get a jack potato and beans and let that animal live.
I don't know. I think that there's definitely a difference between the industrialized farming compared to just hunting. Now, I'm against the mass hunting where they'll go out with 20 people and just hunt for a specific type of species. And I guess it's how old they are as well. If you're, I don't know, because that's also quite contradictory. An old one, why would that deserve to die more than a younger one?
Yeah, and why do they deserve? Why do we deserve to live, and why do animals deserve to die? When it's unnecessary, right?
And the thing is, it's not all animals. Like, yeah, people have cats and dogs as pets, and
yeah. Like we've got chickens at home. We sadly lost one of our chickens the other day, and I was like thinking I'm going to really struggle today because I might cry at someone if they say chickens are no one, because I'm like, they are.
Just because they don't speak doesn't mean that they don't have feelings. It doesn't mean that they don't know where they are or what's going on.
Exactly, and like they know exactly what happens. I've got a video the other day. Our friends were outside a slaughterhouse. There's a cow crying on the truck. Just knows exactly what's going on. So yeah, before you saw this, you may not have realised what you were paying for, and you were born into this world conditioned like we all are. Now you have seen this though, your actions are now going to be accountable. You're going to be accountable for your actions,
Absolutely.
because you know that if you pay for animal products, you're going to fund the industries that you're so against. So yeah, what would stop you paying into these industries now? If I can fix those health problems for you.
Well, meat itself is really quite cheap. I mean, evidently from the industrialized farming on how easy it is. They're just born into captivity, die in captivity, having children in captivity. It's all done in a cage. So there's no money spent on trying to track them down and hunt them.
But then they're all eating food. 80 billion animals, remember, are eating crops, which could have been given to people. And would you say that even if it was a bit more expensive, would that justify what you've seen? Luckily, veganism isn't, by the way. Like the vegan foods are the cheapest in the supermarket, or they can be expensive. It depends what you buy.
I've only ever really seen them as vegan food really expensive, with meat being the very cheap sort of alternative.
Yeah. But when you actually go into Tesco's and you find the products, you realise that's not the case. My husband's a bodybuilder, so our shopping was very expensive before, and we've cut it down by like £30 now since we've been vegan.
Really?
But I would have just eaten beans on toast if I didn't know how to be, because I couldn't ever pay into this again. Before we go, this is the egg industry. Males in the egg industry are classed as a waste product, so they go straight into a blender alive.
Waste product?
Yeah.
Waste?
Yep.
A
Waste.
living creature is deemed as waste?
Yeah. Straight into a blender for eggs. That's free range, organic. Oh! The table wants to go. But I'll leave you with that, and I'll give you a card in a second.
Yeah.
But just remember, every day you're not vegan, you're going to be paying into something you're so morally against, and it's really easy to not pay for this. Veganism is a non-action. You just don't pay for animal products.
I mean, it's definitely been an eye-opener for me. I had a rough idea, and I knew that it wasn't the most humane thing, but this just really took it to another level.
Yeah, and this is standard practice. So, yeah. Thank you so much for sitting down and chatting to me. I really appreciate it.